There's a scene in Avengers where Loki is having a battle with Hulk. Hulk grabs him and just starts smashing him left and right. That's the way I picture these. It's going to reach out, grab you in your chair, and just start thrashing you around. It's violent, it's very visceral. If you want to feel the bass without the need for tactile transducers, butt kickers, bass shakers, Crosons, that nature, these will absolutely do it. If you're looking for something that's just absolutely bonkers, that's what this series is. All right, guys, we're back in the Obsessed Home Theater lab. Today we're talking about the big boys from JTR. These are the 4000 ULF series. And so I want to dive through each one of them. As you can see, we've got 2 of these here in the lab. We'll talk about their specs. We'll talk about their size and dimensions. And really, I wanted to put the 4000 series, instead of doing an individual video on each one of them, to me, the 4000 series is really just need to think about your space, the dimensions you have to work with. They're all going to perform basically the same. They're going to have the same amount of output. They're going to have the same driver configuration, the same amplifier. The only thing that's going to change is what I call the profile, is just the size and the dimensions of it. And so I've had the opportunity over, the past 5 years, I've heard more JTR systems with the 4000s than any of the other speakers, any of the other subwoofers. These are some of the best subwoofers, bar none, on the planet. They have absolutely insane amounts of impact, insane amounts of output. They dig incredibly low. We're talking single digits in most rooms. I've got a good friend, Scott Newby, on his channel, Bass Brings Us Together. He has a variety of the different 4000 ULFs in his setup. He's got a total of 20 18-inch drivers. Crazy, insane setup, incredibly clean, low distortion. Again, these are just, I've never quite experienced subwoofers like the 4000 ULF. So if you're looking at this series and you're like, Michael, I want the most output, I want the most impactful experience, it's one of these, okay? So let's go through, there are basically 4 flavors of the 4000 ULF series. There's the 4000 ULF. We'll talk about the dimensions. The biggest thing with it is it has the 2 18-inch drivers. It has the 4000 watt continuous amplifier. And it's basically going to be really deep. So the 2 drivers will be up front. It's a little bit narrower than this, but it's going to go back pretty stinking far. So you've got the 4000 ULF. We'll talk about the dimensions in a second. The second one, we have the tall version. So imagine this like this, but it's going to stand about this tall. So I'm 5'11". I think it's pretty close to 6 foot. It's really close to that. Again, we'll check out the dimensions here in a second. So you've got basically a deep one. You've got a tall one. You've got the sofa table, the ST. So that's going to be a really short one. This is going to be ideal for putting behind a sofa. It makes an incredible near-field subwoofer. When you place 2 of these behind, 2 of these 18s behind your seat, it's wild. Absolutely wild. Not only are you getting bass in the room, but you are feeling it, something fierce. It's going to vibrate your chair. It's going to attempt to rearrange your internal organs. I mean, it's incredible. So that is a low profile, a sofa table, ST. And then there's a low profile. And so the low profile is this one. So this one is really just it's shorter. It's not like the tall, but it's also not as deep as the 4000 ULF. And so when you're thinking about these subwoofers, of course, these subwoofers are monsters. You can tell, these are 18 inches. And, like I said, I'm 5'11", just to give you scale of how big these subwoofers are. They each weigh roughly like around 260 pounds. Now, before this video, this subwoofer was right over there on the other side of the room. So me by myself, I didn't pick it up, but I'm kind of walking it. It's incredibly awkward. It's very difficult to move this around by yourself. It's always best if you get some help. I just don't like using dollies on something like this because I don't want to scratch up the cabinet. I'd rather pick them up and move them. They've got rubber feet, big rubber feet on the bottom to keep you from scratching it, rubbing it on your carpet or your wood floors or ceramic floors. So you don't have to worry about that. But moving these around, get some help because they're super, super heavy. So let's dive into some of the specs. We'll talk about price. Most of them are about the same price. There's only about $100 to $200 difference. So the 4000 ULF, we'll look at that one first. So that one is not in this room. Again, that is the one that has the dual drivers here. It's about this high, but instead of being wide, it goes deep. And so here you can see a picture of it. That one is $5,700. And spec-wise, we'll just look at the dimensions because again, all of this is going to be the same. Frequency response, the amplifier is going to be the same. Weight's going to be pretty the same. Like the 4000 ULF is 260 pounds. 265. And the dimensions on that is 41 inches high, 20.5 inches wide, and 39.5 inches deep. Almost 40 stinking inches deep. That is a deep, deep cabinet. And so again, when you're thinking about your room, like where are you going to put this monster? If you've got a big, massive room, you may have a lot of options. In my room, I did not have the space anywhere in my room for a 4000 ULF. I might could have done the tall one, but that was it. I definitely could not do any of these in any capacity. It just would have consumed my room. And so that is the 4000 ULF. And again, they all have the same amplifier. It's a 4000 watt continuous amplifier. So each 18-inch driver is getting 2000 watts continuous. You want to have a lot of power to really get these drivers moving. That's what's going to pressurize the room. The ports on these are all ported configurations. You're going to get a real violent, that's the best word I can use to describe the 4000 series. It is a violent attack on your body, on your room, on your internal organs, especially if you got enough of these. It is phenomenal and it'll put a permanent smile on your face for sure. Got XLR as well as RCA connections, and you've got the 5-year manufacturer warranty, 3 years on the amplifier. So that's the 4000 ULF. Next we go to the 4000 ULF LP. So that's the low profile. So that's the one standing right here. So this is low profile. It's relatively short, but it's also relatively not as deep, especially when you compare it to the 4000 ULF. So looking at the specs there, dimensions, we've got 41 inches high, 39.5 inches wide. So imagine this, the original 4000 ULF is basically as deep as this is wide. So again, just a different design, different rotation. So this would be wide, not as deep, drivers on the front. The 4000 would be not as wide, really deep, drivers on the front. So that's 39.5 inches high or wide, and then 20.5 inches deep, okay? The next one is the 4000 ULF sofa table. So that is that bad boy right there. So again, to me, this is a great fit if you want to put subwoofers behind your couch, behind your theater seating. So one day down the road, we're gonna have some near field. We've wired this whole room. I think there's a total of 8 XLR runs from our rack, from our Red Atom rack. And that gives us the ability to put subwoofers up front, subwoofers in the rear, subwoofers on the side, but also subwoofers near field. So one day down the road, I'd love to do that, do some testing, do some, just to kind of walk people through on how does that work, what do you look for, what are some some things that you want to consider when doing near field subwoofers. But to me, this is an absolute game changer if you were to use this as a near field subwoofer. So this is going to sit literally right behind your couch, right behind your theater seats, and it's going to provide you a ride of your life. They're pretty incredible, but as you can see, they're relatively short, you know, so this probably isn't the best use in your room. If you have it like this, people are going to think they can just come and sit down on it. So that's probably not the best use of it. You want to crank it up. You want to feel those movies. But if you're looking at something that you just don't have a lot of height, or if you want to put this behind a couch or behind your theater seating, that would be a really, really, really great choice. Dimensions on that one is 28 inches high, 58 inches wide. So that's huge. And then 20.5 inches deep. So that one's pretty much the same depth as this one. A little bit shorter, but a little bit wider. Then we get to the very last one. This is the 4000 TL, so that stands for tall. So as you can see here, imagine almost taking the sofa table, bringing it up on its end, making it a little bit narrower and extending it up even higher than what that is. So this, I could see probably the most flexible of all of them. And probably the biggest reason is, although it's a big speaker, no doubt, it's a big subwoofer. We'll check out the footprint on it in just a second. But although it's big, it's still manageable. It doesn't take up a ton of floor space. Most of us have, even if you got 8-foot ceilings, you got plenty of room for a tall. So I could see these being real ideal. Put one in each corner of your room. If you don't have like an entryway on the sides, that would be out of the way. Even in a relatively small room, you could probably get away with that. And let me back up just real quick. Pricing on these, I forgot to mention that. Let's see, so $56.99 for the ULF. Let me scroll back up here. $57.99 for the LP, low profile, this one. And then the sofa table, that one's $58.99. And then the dimensions on that one, oh, I told you, 28 by 58 and 20.5. So then the tall is 5,800 as well. So I just forgot to mention that. So dimensions on the tall is 58 inches tall. So pretty significant. It's definitely a tall, I mean, I don't know any other subwoofer that's tall like that. By 20.5 inches, that's width, and then 28 inches deep. And so again, you're talking 20 by 28 is the space that it's going to take up in your floor. That's a whole lot easier to fit in most rooms than something like this one that's super wide, or the sofa table that's super wide, or the 4000 ULF, which is super deep. I just think that this is going to be much more flexible in many of your home theaters. And so again, with the 4000 ULF, we've done some testing in this room, and a lot of times we'll just have 2 speakers going and the sofa table. And that is enough power and output to cause a lot of, this is a drop ceiling in here, a lot of the drywall from, well, not really drywall, but I guess the drop ceiling itself, the particles from that just start raining down on top of the subwoofers, and we have to clean them off and dust them off. But this whole room, you're feeling it. Like, it's pretty massive. We've had just a single 4000 ULF, and this is a big warehouse. This is like 30, I think it's 38,000 or 36,000 square feet here at Obsessed Garage. And so we just have a small portion of Obsessed Garage here in the lab. But this extends way, way, way over. And so I remember Rusty was in here cranking up just the 4000 ULF. He had the, I think the 212, either the 212s or 215 RTs, and he's jamming to it. I went to the restroom. From the restroom, I could hear this thing. It was wild, man. And so make sure you've got some neighbors that like you. Make sure that you're prepared for the amount of output that these will provide. If you're looking for something that's just absolutely bonkers, That's what this series is. It is, again, I always equate these to, there's a scene in Avengers where Loki is having a battle with Hulk, and Hulk grabs him and just starts smashing him left and right. That's the way I picture these. It's going to reach out, grab you in your chair, and just start thrashing you around. It's violent, it's very visceral. If you want to feel the bass without the need for tactile transducers, butt kickers, bass shakers, Crosons, that nature, these will absolutely do it. Having multiple of these in your room is going to give you better seat-to-seat response in each one of your seats. And like I said, I know guys that have 2 of these, 4 of these, 6 of these, and Scott Newby, he's on a different level. He's got 10 of the 4000. So he's got 20 18-inch drivers in a single room. It's insane. If you ever get a chance to get out to Scott's place to demo these, sign up. It's worth the trip. I promise you, man. He's got people that come literally from all over the world to visit his pretty insane JTR system. So that in a nutshell is the 4000 ULF series. Again, if you're just looking for, like, Michael, what is something that I can buy that I will never have to upgrade? Like, to me, these don't, other than aesthetics and size, you won't need any more output. You won't need any more low extension. You know, these are rated down to 10.5 hertz. That's their in-room. I mean, like, that's measured outside of a room. You put them in room, you'll get some boundary gain from just from the acoustics in your room. And so I think Scott's measured his system down to about 8 hertz with really solid output. This isn't 8 hertz at 20 decibels down or 10 decibels down. This is down like 2 dB kind of thing, or flat down to 8 hertz. So you're going to get massive, massive output with this system. The biggest question is, do you have the budget? Because they are expensive. Do you have the space? And if you got a basement, how are you going to get these down the stairs? That's another big challenge. Get some friends, feed them lunch, take them out, hang out, treat them well, and tell them you'll treat them to a movie once you get it all set up. But anyway, so that is a look at the JTR Captivator 4000 ULF. At the end of the series, we're just going to kind of share with you our final thoughts on when would you choose the 2400 over the 4000, or a sealed versus the ported, and we're going to make some recommendations. But if you got any questions about this series, just let me know. Send me an email, youthman at obsessedhometheater.com. I got a bunch of emails. If you got any questions, if you're interested in these, we've got most of these subwoofers in stock at Obsessed Home Theater. So hit us up there. But like I said, if you got any questions, reach out to me directly. I get every one of those emails, and I'm the one personally answering them. So hope you guys have an incredible week. God bless, and I'll catch you in the next video.